Welcome friends, hello once again. Now we are moving towards talking about creativity. As I have been continuously saying, world of IMC is mesmerizing. Now one of the major most reasons why this world is so mesmerizing, so engrossing is creativity. Whichever way you look at it, the objectives which IMC pursues, the perspective which it builds up, the methodologies which are being followed, and communication itself, words, pictures, everything is associated with creativity, and that makes it beautiful. That is why this field, this subject is so attractive. And it is not only attractive, creativity is the reason why IMC moves things or supports the level of marketing. Whole of this world wherein we look forward to business development, we look forward to sales, we look forward to hiring best of the talents. Creativity is the reason that actually enables that. And for few sessions from now, we will look into it. I will try to make it suitably convenient for you to think that it has a particular methodology also. But let me suggest at the onset that usually we look at creativity with an abstract perspective. We will see how, we will see lots of examples here, and we will try to understand how it goes. So, you see, as integrated marketing communication is to marketing mix, creativity is to integrated marketing communication. We talked about this last time when I emphasized upon promotion as one of the major P's of all the 4 P's, because it is responsible for taking the products towards the customers and letting the customers compare the products and services with others and so on, and we know the procedure. And you see, for a while just try to keep aside creativity out of integrated marketing communication, and you would realize that then it would be crude, methodical, mathematical, wherein we get the input from the side of the customer that this is what he needs. We analyze that what kind of a budget we have to spend, we put up a straight simple message, and if he needs, he buys. Can it be so straight? Mathematics is required always everywhere, methodology definitely is the most vital part, but can we think of integrated marketing communication without creativity? Absolutely not, because this is the reason why things come to life. Creativity is related to bringing things to life, it actually puts up the things in the right perspective, and that is where we come to a situation, just for a point of concern, that advertising needs creativity. Why? Because brands make emotional connections when they engage consumers through complex sensory experiences and deep emotional episodes. You see, you have to promote a chocolate, for example. So, you just can't tell a young child that you see you will like it, eat it. How? You have to associate that chocolate with kind of a taste, you have to bring in 5-star to the customer with reference to the enjoyment that customer might have out of 5-star. You remember that advertisement wherein you chew 5-star and you forget everything, sort of, kind of. That is where 5-star tries to project itself. Silk has been marketing itself with a different kind of a perspective, wherein it all spreads over your fingers and you are actually licking the fingers when you eat it. There can be a different logic to why that kind of a product came into being, and there can be so many stories are associated with that, and definitely they are logical. But the point is the way it is marketed, the way it is projected, and then it is associated with relations, happiness and so on. The point here is that you cannot market a doll, you cannot market or project promote a doll or a toy and a chocolate and so many other products without any emotional appeal. And I do not think we can promote largely anything without any emotional appeal. So, that is where the need. So, it is implied, but we have to emphasize upon that. Advertising and integrated brand promotion in its many forms help create these experiences actually, and that is where this element of creativity comes in. What is creativity? As I said, it is responsible for bringing things to life, and there would be so many definitions. You can go to dictionaries and find out the meanings. The ability to produce or use original and unusual ideas. Original, wherein you originate things basically. How? We will just see, and it is a matter of experiencing things actually. And then unusual ideas which just come and they click. Whichever tagline you like, whichever advertisement you like, you see, beautiful advertisements which have different kinds of appeals. You must have heard of advertisements which are known for being most watched in a particular year or span, have been awarded for whatever kinds of creativity they have projected, and so on. So, we will see that. So, another aspect is that creativity is related to having the ability to give rise to. It is characterized by expressiveness and originality and being imaginative, and combining two or more elements with imagination and technical skills that have never been combined before, as Levinson says. Try and visualize, give a piece of paper to a child, ask that child to do something about it, you will find something, and you will find a context of creativity there. Have you handed over a piece of color to a child and put that child on a plain newly painted wall? Just watch that, what he does. I remember my father used to like it most when my daughter used to paint all the white walls in color with different kinds of imaginations, and he used to admire, he used to say, see, she is artist from the childhood kind of. Every grandfather or every grandmother, they look into a child in their grandchildren basically, creative artist in their grandchildren. There is an element of creativity associated with this expression, whatever they make. How do they do it? We can learn from there. How artists do it? We can learn from there. How professionals do it? We can learn further from there. And it is just a matter of observation all around. You see, creativity is the ability to consider and hold together seemingly inconsistent elements and forces, making a new connection. And it's beautiful. Sometimes you feel that the people who write advertisements, they bring in a word from a different language, derive a particular kind of an expression from that word by saying it differently, and then bring a different word from a different language, join those two and make a tagline, or let us say something which is appealing. Same is with the pictures, same is with the colors, what they do, and we'll keep on talking about this. I just want you to start thinking that way. Just look around. Just look around. If you are holding a newspaper or a magazine right now in front of you, or you are just surfing through internet while just before watching this video, you would have noticed that something creative is going around you. You see, I remember that once a political party used used newspapers for painting the name of their party and then pasting it on all around the constituency of a political leader. You see, they realized that why to print colored posters or why to do that, basically because the leader is campaigning through and through. So, let us save the cost, we have to be present all around with the name. So, name can be painted upon the used newspapers, which will save lots of cost, and then that name can be painted with different kinds of fonts, whichever whichever way you can be creative, and that not only saved their cost, but gained lots of attention actually, because people, they saw unusual posters being pasted on the walls of their town when they woke up next morning. This is creativity. The idea, the perspective, the way it was projected, and unusual, as I said. You see, ideas born of creativity reveal their own logic. Have you seen a car hanging on a hoarding or a billboard? You will find these kind of things basically all around. Recently, I was traveling before COVID, of course. I was traveling and I found this car hanging somewhere on the billboard, half projected from that billboard. See, everyone definitely would look at it, kind of, and that is where this creative perspective comes in. You see, creativity is sometimes seen as a gift, a special way of seeing this world. Many a times it is like that. You would find that everyone can't be so creative, but don't feel disheartened. You can think that way. You can start thinking that way. You can look at things with correlation. You can start looking at things with admiration and so on. And I will tell you how it happens. Creativity reflects early childhood experiences, social circumstances, cognitive styles and so on, and it is just to draw your attention towards this kind of a fact. One key element which I want to tell you at this moment is, usually you would find people who are creatively oriented or start thinking that way, their thought process is more, and it's a general argument, it's not taken to be precise, but many a times you would find them more relaxed, more resilient, more happy. They can look at the sky and they can admire that openness of the sky. They can watch the sea and they can start feeling relaxed. They can look meaning into the waves coming towards them. They can draw so many things on the sand out there and so on. And then they start looking at things with a perspective. They can look at the flying bird and they can say, feel free. That is how some feeling of getting free comes basically. So that is what creative perspective is largely. You see, it's about looking around, it's about learning from nature, it's about learning from people. If you can't admire people around you, how would you learn from them basically? If you can't be happy, can't feel happy by the smile of a child, smile of an elder, if you can't see wisdom and meaning in the wrinkles of an elder person, how would you learn creativity? You won't be able to. If you can't find a story in the eyes of an elder basically, if you can't look at inquisitiveness in the eyes of a young child, how can you be creative? That is where, see, from now onwards, whenever you look into the eyes of a young child, try to find that inquisitiveness, that mischief which is hidden there basically. The brain is thinking and that child is telling you without saying much. Have you ever tried to sit beside an elder and try to ask their story? They will tell you so many things which will give you so much of insight. It is learning from text basically. Read and words start coming to you. I would be overstepping right now, but please forgive me for that. People who admire poetry definitely can admire creativity. If somehow there is a lack of admiration for poetry in your mind, then you should start thinking that way. Poetry is where, things come together in one single line, kind of one straight line. And a poet is a person who can equate sea with sky and wind with this and that, in one single line you will find so many things actually. So, flowers, that becomes alive in front of you. Learning from dreams, creativity is learning from dreams. What you imagine about yourself. You want to go places, you want to fly, you want to run, you want to work, you love sports, and I'm talking regardless of the constraints we may have. And putting everything, it's all about putting everything as a message in few seconds, and that is what creativity. You know, music associated with that, some beautiful voice associated with that, and so on. And para para, that Nestle kind of thing. And I have always been saying that don't look at me when I try to sing. Basically, it's never be entertaining for you. It can't be. But again, that and then there are so many beautiful jingles with beautiful music around. So creative concept is related to a big idea that is original and dramatizes the selling point. It actually brings that inherent dramatic element to the fore, and that is why that is related to original thinking basically. When you try to project something about colors, so you can always use colors, and then when you put that color in a child's hands basically. I saw one of very intriguing advertisements that worked basically. That the pen works for this long. Now, how would you tell someone that pen works for this long? You can't say that you can write so many pages with the pen. So, that company, they decided to talk about how many kilometers you can draw a line from that pen basically. Now, that is slightly creative in terms of that kind of a thing basically. It unifies, it dramatizes the selling point, the coolest one. I have heard it somewhere. And Symphony has talked about coolers the way no one can think of actually. In this world of air conditioning, Symphony has been doing very well in terms of selling coolers, and they have sold beautiful products, but they have projected and marketed it so well. And my favorite examples are related to fans. Fans are part of our lives basically, and the advertisements are so exciting around those fans basically. Someone talks about the speed, someone talks about that it will carry away almost everything, and so on. So fan, a general product around you basically, it's so creative. And that you remember we discussed that table fan advertisement somewhere when it takes achar to the space. So that was also some element of creativity definitely is there. So the process is related to taking a creative leap, that flash of insight that unites the campaign, as Otto Klepner says. Wherein it just do whatever it is supposed to. And at the end of the day, it is about inquiry, improvisation and intuition. How it comes to you, and how inquisitive one is, what kind of intuition comes to the creative, and how he carries it forward. There are twin masters of creativity and strategy which can be looked upon together, and then we will spend few minutes on that basically. As advertising is an art of disciplined solution to a communication problem, so strategy is the springboard for that creative leap, okay. And a creative idea is both original, different, novel, unexpected, and right for the product and target audience. And David Ogilvy said somewhere that I doubt if more than one campaign in 100 contains a big idea. I am supposed to be one of the more fertile inventors of big ideas, but in my long career I have not had more than 20 of that. Now you see, it is a humble statement given by David Ogilvy, a known figure in the field of integrated marketing communication, but he wants to emphasize here that you try, you are creative by nature, but still it takes lot of effort and lots of time for taking things to that level, wherein it does well. And you see, that is how the twin masters or strategy and creativity, they work together. So there are two perspectives, from two great figures in the field of integrated marketing communication. One is David Ogilvy and the other is Leo Burnett, wherein you see, it says that brand image or personality is particularly important when brands are similar, because you see, you have to create a point of differentiation. And then one of my favorite examples is salt, for example. How salty a salt can be? Would you be able to sell a salty salt? I do not know. And how sugary a sugar can be? So how pure this sugar is? See, have you ever tried to make a difference? How sugary a sugar is? How cementy a cement? No. So how strong a cement can be? And how strong an iron rod can be. Now these are products wherein differentiation cannot be so easy. Okay, it can't be so smooth basically. So cement, you pick up two cements and you do not have names of those cements in front of you. Would you be able to differentiate? Even tea, basically, tea, there is a scope of differentiation, and people who like tea, so definitely they would be able to. But there are several products actually, and that is wherein catch salt and these kind of products, they try to differentiate themselves as far as the brand image or the perspective comes in, and that is precisely we have to start. So if you actually want to learn how these things are done, then start from the products wherein differentiation is low. Then you see, every ad must contribute to the complex symbol that is called, that is related to the brand image basically. Many a times even shoes, if I just put away the stripes of Adidas and this symbol of Nike, would it be so easy for us to recognize which shoe we are wearing? Not so easy. If I just remove that crocodile of Lacoste, I do not know. And if you get something stitched from somewhere and put up a tag, I should not be telling you this, but would someone be able to so easily recognize then what kind of a brand you are wearing? What hair oil do you use? Now that can only be justified after a very long time when your hair remains intact. And I have been joking about my hair since quite some time, so I would not do that joke again. But creativity, when Leo Burnett talks about, that is related to finding the inherent drama or characteristic of the product that makes consumers buy it. Sasta nahi, sabse acha. Vanguard cement? Probably yes. Sasta nahi, sabse acha. There is a need, so it is not so less priced. It charges premium, but then it is the best. Probably, just an example. How to differentiate different kinds of water, this water, that water? I do not know. Have you been differentiating? Yes, people do that. People do that. Water from Himalayas and so on. And then you see, when inherent drama is often hard to find, but it is actually always there, and once found, it is the most interesting and believable of all advertising appeals. That is what we have to understand about as far this thing goes. And let us look at these twin masters in crux. So strategy, use a unique selling proposition and then create brand image, and other aspect is positioning and find the inherent drama. That is how whole of the picture is related to each other. But remember, at this moment we are trying to draw ourselves towards how to observe creativity and how to be creative in due course of time. And how to think creatively when we are thinking in terms of integrated marketing communication, how to identify creativity to start first of all. Right now, just pick up a newspaper and see an advertisement all around and just look at that. So, just pick up a newspaper which is lying around you, watch an advertisement there, read the message and notice, although I will be elaborating upon each of these elements in the next session, wherein I would be focusing upon USP, create brand image, find the inherent drama along with positioning perspective, and positioning we have talked about earlier as well, but here we are focusing upon the role of creativity in positioning. So, we will talk about that as well. But look at that newspaper, watch the picture, watch the colors, watch the tagline and try and analyze what we have been talking about as of now. If somehow it is related to the message is related to an automotive, for example, somehow it is related to a toothbrush. Now, start looking for the same advertisement on television, for example, same product, same advertisement. You will find the same tagline flowing there, but there you would have an extended element of words being spoken by someone or some jingle there which is being sung by someone, and there these elements would start projecting themselves with a different kind of an emphasis, and that is all we talk about when we refer to creativity. It can be observed almost everywhere. Start doing this exercise, start observing advertisements or communications with reference to creativity now. Up till now, I have been advising you on several elements basically. I have been talking about how to look at communication with reference to association with other elements of marketing and so on. But now, just start admiring creativity. Just look at the wrappers of the chocolates, or let us say the boxes of several kinds of products or packaging of the products you are purchasing. Start looking at the fonts being used, start looking at the, for example, look at Chocos, the pack of Chocos, look at the pack of Kellogg's and so on, and then you will suddenly start realizing that yes, creativity is all around us. So, I will leave you with this thought. I will join you in the next session while we will be talking about these 4 elements separately along with some other things, and then flowing our thoughts towards being further creative. Goodbye for now. See you next time.